Hi students, and welcome to this lecture. Till now we have been saying about sine inverse x, cos inverse x, tan inverse x and so on. But we don't know much about them. So the prime focus of this lecture is to make you aware and help you to understand the properties of inverse trigonometric functions. Now this is a part of trigonometry as well as a part of functions. That's why we have included this lecture on the chapter on functions. So let's start this lecture. Let's begin this lecture with the study of periodic functions. So now what are periodic functions? A function fx is a periodic function if f of x plus t is equal to f of x for all x being elements of R. R is a set of real numbers. The domain of x could also be a subset of R. Your fx is said to have a period of t because f of x plus t is equal to f of x. Now t could have many values, but the least positive value is called as the period of fx. So once again, if f of x plus t is equal to f of x, then fx is said to be periodic and the least positive value of t is taken to be the period of fx. Now let us try to see a few examples of periodic functions. Now we see that this particle is moving along a circle. So finding the location of this particle at any moment is a periodic function because we see that it is moving in a circle and also after a fixed time this particle again crosses this position A. Similarly, this particle again crosses the B after a fixed time. This fixed time is the period of this function, that is finding the location of particle at any instant. Similarly, the time in this digital clock is periodic because it shows the same time after a fixed interval and that is equal to 24 hours. And for an analog clock it would be equal to 12 because after every 12 hours it shows the same time. Thus these are some of the examples of periodic functions. So we can say that a periodic function simply repeats itself after every t units. Now there may be many such t, and to be precise there are infinitely many periods because once t is a period, then k into t is also a period where k is any integer. So if we multiply t by any number, then the product is also a period of the particular function. We can have infinitely many periods. But once again, the smallest positive value of t is called as the fundamental period. And we always take this fundamental period to be the period of any function fx. Now let's look at the graphs of some of the periodic functions. Now if a graph repeats at fixed interval, then fx is periodic and the width of interval is its period. So if we have any function fx and if its graph repeats itself after a fixed interval, then we can clearly say that fx is a periodic function and the width of that interval is called as its period. Now let's try to understand it through an example. This is the curve y equal to sine x. So it is equal to 0 at 0, it is equal to 1 at pi by 2, it is again equal to 0 at pi, it is equal to minus 1 at point x equal to 3 pi by 2 and it is equal to 0 at the point 2 pi. Now this represents the curve y equal to sine x. Now we see that after 2 pi, when x is greater than 2 pi, it repeats itself, that is at value x equal to 5 pi by 2, the value of function is equal to 1, which is the same as at x equal to pi by 2. So this is the period of y equal to sine x. Now this is equal to 5 pi by 2 minus pi by 2 and that is equal to 2 pi. Thus we can clearly see that the period of sine x is 2 pi. Now let's take one more example. Y equal to x minus greatest integer function of x, and that is y equal to the fractional part of x. Now we have already seen the graph of y equal to fractional part of x and it is as this way. Now this is a periodic function and we clearly see that this repeats itself after every 1 unit. So the width of the interval is equal to 1. Thus the period of y equal to the fractional part of x is 1. Hence the period of y equal to the fractional part of x is 1. Now let's look at the periods of some of the important functions. So for sin x, cos x, cosec x, sec x, the period is 2 pi. These all are periodic functions. So sin x, cos x, cosec x and sec x, the period is 2 pi. For tan x and cot x, the period is pi. Now sin x to the power n and cos x to the power n have a period of pi if n is even. Tan x to the power n, cot x to the power n has a period of pi if n is even or odd. So tan x and cot x to any exponent is always having a period of pi, even if n is odd or even. Sec x to the power n and cosec x to the power n has a period of 2 pi if n is odd or fraction. Modulus of sin x, modulus of cos x, modulus of tan x, modulus of cot x, modulus of cosec x and modulus of sec x has a period of pi. We have already seen that the period of fractional part of x is 1, and any algebraic expressions like x square, root x, x to the power 4 minus 3 does not have any period. That is, these expressions are not periodic. So these are the periods of some very important functions. Now it's very much important for you to learn the periods of these very standard functions because they are going to help us a lot while solving many problems. Now let's look at the properties of periodic functions. The first is, if fx has a period of t, then a into fx also has a period of t. So if fx has a period t, then if we multiply fx by any number, then again it has the period of t. Now let's take an example. We know that the period of cos x is 2 pi. So if we multiply it with minus 4, then we get minus 4 cos x, and it will also have a period of 2 pi. The second is, if fx has a period of t, then fx plus minus a also has a period t. Here a is any number. So if we add or subtract any number from fx, then fx plus minus a will also have the same period t as that of fx. Let us take an example. Tan x plus 3 also has a period of pi, as the period of tan x is pi. So this expression also has a period of pi. The third is, if fx has a period t, then f of x plus a also has a period t. Now we know that sin x has a period of 2 pi. So if we consider the function sin of x plus 3, then this function will also have a period of 2 pi. Now let's come to the fourth very important property. If fx has a period of t, then f of ax plus b has a period of t divided by modulus of a. If we have any function fx and it has a period of t, then f of ax plus b has a period of t divided by mod a. Period of f of ax plus b does not depend on the value of b. It depends on the coefficient of x. So let's take an example. Cos of 3x plus pi by 5. We know that the period of cos x is 2 pi. So the period of cos of 3x plus pi by 5 would be equal to 2 pi divided by mod 3, and that is equal to 2 pi by 3. Thus the period of cos of 3x plus pi by 5 is equal to 2 pi by 3. The fifth is, if f is a periodic function with period t and g is any function on the common domain, then cof x is also periodic. So if we have any function f and it is periodic with the period t, and we have another function g with the common domain, then gof x is also periodic. Now g of f of x plus t is equal to g of f of x plus t. Now f of x plus t is equal to fx, so this becomes g of fx, and that is equal to g of f of x for all x, and so cof x also has a period of t. The sixth is, if fx has a period t, then 1 by fx and root fx also have a period of t. So if we have any function fx with a period t, then 1 by fx and root fx also have the same period t. The seventh property is, if fx and gx have periods t1 and t2 respectively, and if the LCM of t1 and t2 exist, then the first is, if LCM of t1 t2 is the period of fx plus gx, if fx and gx cannot be interchanged by adding some least positive number k, and if fx and gx can be interchanged by adding a positive number k, and if k is less than the LCM of t1 t2, then the period becomes k. So this property says that if we have got two functions fx and gx and the periods are t1 and t2 respectively, and also the LCM of t1 and t2 exist, then The LCM of t1 and t2 is the period of fx plus gx if fx and gx cannot be interchanged by adding some least positive number k, and if they can be interchanged by adding some positive number k, then if k is less than the LCM of t1 t2, then the period becomes k. Otherwise, the LCM of t1 and t2 is the period of fx plus gx. Now adding some least positive number k means that if f of x plus k is equal to gx and if g of x plus k is equal to fx, then this means they can be interchanged by adding some least positive number. So if something like this happens, then we consider these two situations. Now, so students, we have learned enough of periodic functions. So let's try to solve a few examples to understand these concepts. This problem appeared in 1993 and it says that which of the following functions is periodic? Option number A is fx equal to x minus greatest integer function x. Option number B is fx equal to sine of 1 by x for x not equal to 0 and f of 0 is equal to 0. Option number C is fx equal to x cos x, and option number D is none of the above. So we already know that fx equal to x minus greatest integer function of x is equal to the fractional part of x. Now this fractional part of x is a periodic function with the period t. So this is a periodic function. Sine of 1 by x is not a periodic function because sine of 1 by x plus t is not equal to sine of 1 by x. Thus this is not a periodic function. Similarly, we can say about x cos x. This is not a periodic function. Therefore, we can definitely say that option number A is correct, as the fractional part of x is always a periodic function. Find the period of cos x plus fractional part of x, sin of x by 3 plus tan of 2x, and the third is modulus of sin x plus modulus of cos x. So in this problem, we have to find the periods of these functions. Let's take the first part, that is fx equal to cos x plus fractional part of x. Now cos x is a periodic function and the period is 2 pi. Also, the period of fractional part of x is 1, but 2 pi is an irrational number and this is a rational number. 1 is always a rational number. So it's impossible to find the LCM of an irrational number and a rational number. So we can say that fx is not periodic, as we cannot find the LCM of 2 pi and 1. The next part is fx equal to sine of x by 3 plus tan of 2x. Now we know that the period of sine x is equal to 2 pi. So the period of sine of x by 3 is equal to 2 pi divided by 1 by 3, and that is equal to 6 pi. And similarly, we know that the period of tan x is equal to pi. So the period of tan 2x would be equal to pi by 2. Thus, the period of sine of x by 3 is equal to 6 pi and the period of tan 2x is equal to pi by 2. So we can say that the period of fx is equal to the LCM of 6 pi and pi by 2, and that is equal to 6 pi. Thus the period of fx is equal to 6 pi. The third is fx equal to modulus of sin x plus modulus of cos x. Now modulus of sin x and modulus of cos x are interchangeable functions, as we know that modulus of sine of x plus pi by 2 is equal to modulus of cos x, and also the modulus of cos of x plus pi by 2 is equal to modulus of sin x. Thus we can say that f of x plus pi by 2 is equal to modulus of sine of x plus pi by 2 plus modulus of cos of x plus pi by 2, and this is equal to cos x and this is equal to sin x. So this is equal to modulus of cos x plus modulus of sin x, and which is nothing but equal to fx. Thus f of x plus pi by 2 is equal to f of x. So we can clearly see that pi by 2 is the period of fx. So fx equal to modulus of sin x plus modulus of cos x is a periodic function with the period equal to pi by 2.